Hi, and welcome to Straight Shot Radio. My name is Johnny Slick, and I'm the owner and head coach at Straight Shot Training. As many of you celebrated the Irish culture this past weekend with the festivities of St. Patrick's Day, I wanted to jump on board and get into the sport and fitness culture of Ireland by interviewing my fellow trainer at the Y and strength and conditioning specialist, Kevin Barry. Kevin came to the U.S. from Ireland to study exercise science and shares with us his story along with how training athletes and personal training clients is different in the U.S. than Ireland and what our fitness and health cultures can learn from each other. Hi everyone, we're here with Kevin Barry. Kevin is a certified strength and conditioning specialist through the National Strength and Conditioning Association, and he's also a personal trainer with me here at the Frederick Y. So thank you for joining us, Kevin.
You're welcome.
I want to get into how you got into training and how fitness and sport is different in America as opposed to where you're from in a bit. But first, I want everybody to get kind of a background story about you. So where exactly are you from?
I'm from Waterford, Ireland. Came over here about 6.5 years ago for undergrad.
Okay. And so you are a strength and conditioning coach here at Hood College, and where else?
Mount St. Mary's.
Mount St. Mary's,
yeah,
okay.
in Emmitsburg.
So what age did you get into sports personally?
I've been into sports ever since growing up, since 5 or 6. Played a couple of different sports, and about 14 or 15 I made the switch just to soccer.
Okay.
And competed in soccer until I graduated college, which would have been at 22.
Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm 25.
Gotcha. So growing up playing sports and then playing sports all throughout high school and then playing sports in college and then pursuing strength and conditioning, did you always want to work in sports, or was that something that developed as you got into sports?
It was always something I wanted to do in the back of my head. When I was 15 or 16, I knew it would be a sport route. I didn't know if it would be in nutrition or dietetics or strength and conditioning, personal training. It wasn't much of a developed field at the time at home.
Gotcha.
But once I got some initial experience within strength and conditioning, I knew that was the path I was going to go down.
So was there anybody in your family that was into the health sciences field or training?
No,
gym?
not at all.
Nothing?
What happened to me was I got a strength and conditioning program when I was about 14 or 13 for soccer.
Okay.
And followed the program diligently, had some really good results, and then noticed that it doesn't take a whole lot of work to get that much improvement.
Yeah.
And based upon that was really the first push. I started getting some magazines, Muscle and Fitness, Men's Health, and from there you just learn a little bit more and more.
Yeah.
And that was my start from that first soccer program.
Was there like a specific coach that was kind of like your mentor when at 13, 14 who gave you that program?
I trained on a regional soccer team at
Gotcha.
home, and that was kind of the next level before national. So at the national level, they already had the strength and conditioning program. They had the coaches, but at the level I was at, it was here's the program, give it a go, and we'll retest in a couple of weeks and see how it goes.
So do you actually have somebody teaching you the lifts, or do they just give you the program?
At the time, it was a volunteer assistant for one day. Showed here's how you do a squat, here's how to do a push up. The plank was there. The documentation, they had pictures at the time. Of this is how you part A for a squat, top position, part B, bottom position, but really it was all on your own.
Yeah. And at that point, I'm guessing, because YouTube wasn't big then yet.
That's right. Yeah, everything was just picture based, and I have the actual document.
Wow, that's great that you. I guess it kind of goes to show that structure. As long as there's some structure to a program, that it'll work, even if it's not the absolute best program. I'm sure programs got better and better as you got older. But so, what did you then study in college when you went to school there?
So when I came to America, the reason I did was because of exercise science and strength and conditioning. There was one national program in Ireland at the time, and it was a very difficult program to get into.
Okay.
And I knew I had a much better chance in the US, so I studied exercise science for my undergrad.
Oh, so your undergrad was here?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, I thought your undergrad was in Ireland.
No, I did undergrad and master's here. Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Mm-hmm. So, it's been some time.
So your undergrad was in exercise physiology? Was that the exact degree it was?
The term was exercise science. Exercise physiology is pretty much the same thing.
Gotcha,
yeah.
And then your master's was?
It was in sport administration, physical education.
Okay, gotcha. Did you ever think that you might go the PE, like teacher education route with it?
Yeah, I initially tried. Because of state law in North Carolina, I wasn't able to take the Masters of Arts in Teaching course. I had to switch over to physical education and sport administration. So
Why is that?
the school was a public school, and I think they were looking at U.S. national citizens as a preference.
Oh, gotcha. So you were on like a student visa?
Student visa at the
Gotcha.
time. So
Okay. So then is that kind of got you into the strength and conditioning route, is having to go more sports than education?
that's a good question. Because initially, when I graduated from undergrad, I was all set on the teaching route.
Yeah.
I got a good story of always been in athletic clothes from being in strength and conditioning, and then I went out, bought a lot of shirts after my graduation, and bought black pants, bought everything, and then a couple of months later realized that that path wasn't going to happen. So
you have a bunch of ties sitting somewhere.
that's right. I got a couple of new shirts still at home, and a couple of ties still going. Yeah.
Okay.
But I, as an option long term, I could see myself in the teaching route.
Okay. That's cool. So then how long have you been in the U.S.? So since your undergrad, you came over when you were 18 then?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. August 2011 was the first time I came here.
Wow.
And I've been here since. I go home a couple of times a year.
Okay. So was that a tough transition then, coming over at 18, like all your friends over in Ireland coming here to go to school?
For me, it wasn't as difficult as some other people because I did some research. I had some background information, and I had a couple of friends that actually did a similar route. They went to college and universities throughout America, and I would speak to them every couple of months. This is as I was growing up when I was 15, 16, 17. So
Gotcha.
I knew their path was successful. I knew it would be a little bit easier.
Well, so you were thinking about coming to the U.S. for school like when you were 15 then?
Yeah, my decision was almost set when I was 16 because we had to
Jeez.
choose, secondary school, high school subjects. And I changed one of my choices based upon the next step for me at college.
Okay. So in high school in Ireland, you, like halfway through high school, you start doing things that are going to be degree specific then?
That's right.
That's cool.
So 2 years from graduation, you'll go down to 4 classes to choose. And for me, I chose business. I think that's always a good backup plan. I chose home economics, so we do a lot of cooking and a lot of stuff about vitamins and minerals. A couple other classes I took was biology. I thought that would give me a strong background for strength and conditioning, exercise science. And the last one was a bit out there, was geography. It was just one of those requirements that you need to get an extra class in.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that's cool. Yes, that's a neat. I mean, so I was homeschooled, so I thought I knew what I was going to do when I was going into college. I ended up changing my major when I first got in there, but yeah, I think the idea of high schoolers getting a little taste of some things that they could get into, rather than just so many general education, general studies things would be a good idea.
I mean, just previous to that year when we had to choose, it was a optional year in school, so we had a year long. It was broken up to more college type classes.
Gotcha.
And that was the first time I actually did work experience in a commercial gym.
Okay.
I did a week work experience there, a volunteer basis. And when I finished the placement for a week, this was almost towards the start of summer.
Okay.
What they did was they gave me a full summer membership for free. So
that's awesome.
That really got me started going.
So was that like a traditional gym, like we have like Gold's Gym?
Yeah, that's right. It was a relatively new chain at the time.
Okay.
They since expanded throughout Ireland and I believe in the UK as well.
Gotcha.
But it's just catering to general population.
Okay. So you worked a little bit of general population, and you came here, and after studying, you then went into strength and conditioning.
That's right.
So when you finished your master's, you then went and got your CSCS then through NSCA?
My route was a little bit different than that.
Okay.
So what I did was in my last semester of undergrad, you're eligible for the CSCS to take it.
Oh, gotcha.
And in my last semester of undergrad, I took a class that was, it was for my major, but it was a basic prep for that exam.
Oh, that's cool.
I took my exam, I would say March or April of the year I graduated into May.
Okay.
And the idea was that I would pass it and then look for jobs as I was graduating.
Okay.
So that's how it worked out for me.
That test has like a 60% pass rate? Is it even that high?
I would think it's a little bit higher now, just
Okay.
because they've increased the requirements that you need a bachelor's degree within
Gotcha. So people
exercise
have a better
science.
foundation
That's
going
right.
into it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think a lot of people probably taking the test who maybe shouldn't have been taking the test before they
exactly. I
first
think
started.
previous to that, it was just have an undergrad degree in anything you want,
Yes.
and then take it.
Okay.
So
So, like we said before, you currently work in college sports, but you do train non-athletes here at the Y. Well, some of them are athletes, just in different areas, but not collegiate sport athletes. So you've got to see a little bit about how Americans train both athletes and people who just work out in gyms. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about what it's like training people in Ireland, because we talk a lot about training people here in the U.S. So are sports super popular over there culturally the way they are here?
sports are a huge part as
Okay.
well at home. We don't have as many sports as you guys have here.
Okay.
We've three primary sports, two being native to Ireland would be hurling and Gaelic. And then we
Okay.
also have soccer in my area is the biggest one.
Okay. Wait, what are the first two?
Hurling
Okay.
and then Gaelic, and they're part of the Gaelic Athletic Association. So they're both field-based sports.
Okay.
One hurling's equivalent, I would say, a mix between lacrosse and maybe some baseball almost.
Okay.
Whereas Gaelic will be very similar to rugby if you're familiar
Oh yeah.
with rugby.
Yeah.
A big open field concept.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
Were you ever drawn to any of those? Did you play
I
those? Or
that's the
just
sports I played until I was 14 or 15.
Okay, then you switched to
Yeah, I
soccer.
played at
Gotcha.
a decent level, and the time just came that everything started clashing. Practices at the same time, sessions
Okay.
at the same time, games at the same time. And to me, I was always a little bit more drawn towards playing football,
Okay.
playing soccer. So
Yeah. Now over here in the U.S. is especially from physical therapists now working with younger and younger kids, because we have so many sports injuries with younger and younger kids, that we're now sport coaches are realizing that young children still need uh, ACL injury prevention work, and they're really encouraging parents to make sure their kids are multi-sport athletes, so they're not constantly, getting these overuse injuries from playing one sport all the time. Is that similar over in Ireland? Do kids play multiple sports till they get to a certain age and then pick one?
it's difficult. Like I just spoke about, a lot of coaches have kids pull different directions. I'm not
Okay.
sure we're looking completely at development of a kid versus winning and losing.
Okay.
I would say typical age would be 14 to 16 before kids start specializing at home.
Okay.
I think that might be a little bit later than a lot of people I see in the
I think that's
US.
later than the U.S. Yeah.
We're looking at maybe 10, 11, 12 over here from my experience
Yeah.
working in soccer.
Yeah, because if you aren't already playing on like travel like club teams soccer when you are U12, you're not going to play in high school.
I think that's the perception from a lot of people
Yeah.
is that it's almost a scare tactic,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
if I want to get a scholarship at a school, that you need to start that early.
But
Whereas
you as a coach, you don't think so, though, right?
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
You're going to miss out on a lot of late developers
Oh yeah.
within that time frame.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, so some kids don't really understand their how to move in their own bodies until they're a little
Yeah.
bit older.
If you look at some of the most successful college programs like Ohio State, they traditionally recruit football players that have multi-sport background. So
Really?
they look
Okay.
at athletes specifically in track and field and throwers as well
Gotcha.
that have the same capabilities or the same positive attributes that are needed for
That are carried
football.
over for football.
Speed is
Okay.
king, and then maximal upper body strength from throwing versus playing a football
Yeah.
position.
Huh.
There is
That's
some
cool.
carryover.
So then let's talk about non-athletic populations then, just your everyday people. With the American fitness industry, we're largely driven by the obesity epidemic and sedentary lifestyles. So a lot of times people's only activity they get is maybe the hour they have with a trainer in the gym or just coming in using elliptical or something like that. So what is the general lifestyle like for people in Ireland?
General lifestyle, if you were to start the day, I think you're getting more sleep at home. Our typical workday is 9 to 5. A lot of work days here seem like they're 8 to 5 or
Yes, yeah.
8 to 6.
Yeah.
So going off that, we recognize how important sleep is.
Okay.
We're likely getting an extra hour, maybe 2 hours sleep a night.
Wow.
From there, our cities are set up that you can walk in. I know where we live right now, you can walk to a certain extent,
Yeah.
but not nearly the same level or capacity as you could do at home.
Okay.
For me, that was very apparent when I first moved here and I didn't have a license to drive.
Oh yeah.
I was very limited,
Yeah.
by what I could do versus walking into town at home, which would be, for me, it'd be up to, a 2 mile, 2.5 mile walk. And
Okay.
it's not a problem to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to get rolled over by a car.
And
So.
then how does diet differ Americans to Irish?
I would say the quality of food is much better at home.
Okay.
I'm a little bit biased because my dad actually is a chef, so
Oh wow.
I've had that
geez.
growing
Yeah,
up all the time. Yeah, so
kind of spoiled there.
a little bit spoiled.
Yeah.
But quality food is much better at home. It's a little
Okay.
bit more expensive, but a lot of people say you get what you pay for.
Okay.
It's evident here. And then portion control, portion sizes the differential is huge.
Really?
If you look
Okay.
at takeaways or restaurants here,
Uh-huh.
the culture of getting food to go is non-existent at home. So
Oh, gotcha. So if you
if
go
you're
to
in
a
a
restaurant,
restaurant,
you eat there then.
you eat there and then you're finished.
Gotcha.
You're not having anything for lunch, or you're not having a second dinner.
Okay.
And the actual portion size is about half typically
Wow.
of what you would have in the US.
And then what about like packing food? Is there a lot more of people cooking, bringing their own food to lunch? Is that something that's popular there?
Yeah,
or-
I think it comes back again to the lifestyle from work itself. Working 9 to 5, commutes are much shorter.
Gotcha. So you're home for dinner. You're not
That's
having.
that's
Okay.
right. Typical time is 5 o'clock, 5:30, 5:30, 6 o'clock at latest. Whereas in my experience here, it's not uncommon to be having dinner at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock
That's
at night.
me.
It's
Yeah.
a norm,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I get off here at 5:30, and I get home at like 6:15, and dinner close to 7.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
Long term.
So how much sleep are you getting now over here in America with just work schedules being different?
For me, it would be dependent on the time of year.
Okay.
For my schedules.
That's true. Yeah, with depending on what
Mm-hmm.
section of the year the sports team is in, that's gonna be very different for you.
Yeah, right now I try and maintain 7 a night.
Okay.
I have some better nights, some worse nights, but
Yeah.
on average I look towards 7. I think that's comfortable for me at this stage.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like 7.5 to 8 is what I typically like to get.
Right.
So what about the gym culture in Ireland? Is that different over there than it is here? So like we have a lot of group exercise classes. We do have 100 group exercise classes a week here at the Y, and CrossFit gyms are big. People like the group atmosphere. And what does it kind of look like over in Ireland?
Yeah, there's a interesting split at the moment. You have a lot of commercial gyms, like you were saying. You have the CrossFits and a couple of others that have group exercise. But I've noticed a trend recently of people breaking out on their own,
Okay.
opening up very small facilities and
Like private personal trainers?
private personal
Okay.
trainers just making a Facebook page and they're ready to go from there. Obviously, their expenses are low, so from that,
Okay.
they're building clientele pretty quick. I will say, going back to personal training itself,
Yeah.
there seems more of a personal touch to personal training here
Okay.
versus at home, where it's more group exercise based. And I think I could be wrong, but in my perspective, it comes down to distribution of wealth, or it comes down to income.
Gotcha.
In the US being a little bit higher, people have more money to spend versus at home,
Yeah.
where income might not be as high for the same occupation.
Yeah. Now, what about your town? How does your town that you grew up in, like from a socioeconomic standpoint, like how does that compare to Frederick, where we are here, which is a little more?
Yeah, that's interesting. So Frederick would be equivalent to Dublin at home, which is the capital of Ireland, the most
Oh,
expensive
gotcha.
place in Ireland.
Gotcha, because it's not. I mean, Frederick has money, but not like DC.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's surprising to me. When I first moved here and looked at the cost of living or the cost of rent,
Yeah.
I realized that it's not as expensive as other areas.
Yeah.
But I still find myself sometimes comparing what would this cost at home,
Yeah.
and then you look at this is as expensive as Dublin.
Wow,
It's
that's crazy.
a little bit off-putting.
Okay, so that maybe that is why it's because personal training is huge here, and that's what my
That's right.
entire day is filled with. But yeah, so over there I can see group exercise maybe being a bigger just because
That's right. I just think it's more economically feasible for
Okay.
people. You still get that somewhat personal touch
Yeah.
in smaller groups of maybe 5 to 8, up to 12 people
Okay.
as a typical group exercise class.
Then what about outdoor fitness stuff? So obstacle course races have gotten really big in the U.S.
That's right.
And there's every weekend you can find a 5K somewhere within 20 miles of Frederick here. So what does it look like over there when it comes to outdoor stuff, races?
Outdoor races are pretty popular.
Okay.
I know in Waterford, where I live at home, there's Waterford Athletic Running Club,
Okay.
and a lot of people be frustrated because they run on the roads and upset a lot of people driving.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing. They do, I think, Tuesday, Thursday, a couple times a week, but it's difficult to schedule anything outdoor because, as you know, it rains a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah.
The weather is not as reliable.
Okay.
But outdoor training in a group environment would be more so with clubs and organizations versus people doing, group training outside.
Okay, gotcha. Then what about functional fitness? So that's exploded in the U.S. Places like Iceland, where we were talking earlier before the podcast about how big strongman is in Iceland and CrossFit gyms, and how in the U.S. CrossFit has gotten huge. So what does that look like in Ireland, functional fitness wise? Is that getting bigger over there now?
It's starting to pick up. I think a lot of people bash CrossFit, but
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be said for them broadening horizons for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Olympic lifting is picking
I was
up
going to say,
at
you have
home.
people Olympic lifting who were never Olympic lifting.
That's right. Powerlifting is picking up at home.
Okay.
And from there, you've got the mixed events. Triathlons are even picking up.
Okay.
Because of the cardio component within
Yeah.
CrossFit. It's definitely on the up
On
at
the
the
rise.
moment. It's
Okay.
on the rise.
That's cool. So now that you've been coaching for a while, you've done some personal training here, what are some of your career goals that you have going forward? What would you like to be doing with everything that you've learned now here studying and training in the U.S. for this long?
That's a good one. It's funny because I actually have a interview next week for head strength conditioning position.
Wait, where at?
Cutztown in PA.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
cool.
But
This is good practice then.
Yeah,
Continue
there we
to go.
long term for me, it's just about making a difference with athletes or non-athletes.
Okay.
I like to look at how many people I can make a difference with. And in college athletics, that number is usually very high. My current position, we're working with 250, 300 athletes. I know at YMCA, where I'm working also, that number is much lower.
Yeah.
But the potential is there to increase and impact a lot more members,
Okay.
considering we have thousands of members at YMCA.
Yeah, close to 12,000 members. Cool. All right, so I always finish each interview with a lightning round. So just answer with all of these with the first thing that pops into your head. If we need to expound on it, you can expound on it. It doesn't have to keep it to one word. So we'll start off with favorite exercise.
Favorite exercise has got to be squat for me.
Nice. And any specific variation?
I've gotten into back squat.
Okay.
That's my primary background, but front squat I've enjoyed recently.
Yeah, I love
just
front.
learning that Olympic movement base.
Yeah. I like the upright torso in the front squat. I think it helps me. It just carries over to so many other things.
Absolutely.
Least favorite exercise.
Least favorite exercise for me would be pull-ups.
Really?
I've always used pull-ups as an
Long arms.
excuse.
You have long arms too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had surgery on my shoulder a couple years back, and I used that as an excuse for too long.
Okay.
And I got to the stage where I completely deconditioned from pull-ups, and now I know myself. It's my weakest point.
Gotcha. All right. So favorite occasional or favorite cheat food?
Favorite cheat food has got to be brownies.
Okay.
Girlfriend will tell you about that. Got to get homemade brownies.
Now, was that something you also enjoyed in Ireland, or is that something that's more of a U.S. food that you enjoy?
More of U.S. and it came about because my eating was so healthy in the U.S. that I felt I need to do something else.
Yeah.
And it came about my first summer I stayed in America. I had a great week of eating. I had a roommate that played soccer, and every Friday before a game on Sunday, we'd get brownies every Friday, and that's just stuck with me since then. Yeah.
That's awesome. Then a favorite healthy food that you'd hate, do not want to eat, even though it's healthy for you.
Most people would be surprised by this, but people that know me won't be too surprised, I guess. But that makes no sense. I just said most people that know me. Sorry about that. To be honest, most vegetables I don't eat.
Really?
Only vegetables I'll eat will be carrots and green beans. After that, I'm really limited. No broccoli, nothing out there.
Spinach?
No spinach. Rarely will I have spinach.
What about like a salad? Can you do salad?
I can eat a salad,
Okay.
but I don't go too far out there from the basic. vegetables.
No root vegetables.
No
No
root
sweet potatoes.
vegetables. Sweet potatoes, I tried a couple of times and I just can't get into them.
No, you're Irish and you don't eat regular potatoes.
I enjoy regular potato, yeah.
But yeah, so none of the other vegetables.
That's right.
Huh.
No.
Favorite sports team.
Favorite sports team would be Waterford FC. They just changed their name from Waterford United last year.
Okay.
That'd be my local team growing up as well.
Okay.
So they're having a good year this year.
And then what league is that they're in?
That would be League of Ireland,
Okay.
which would be National League for Soccer at home.
Okay.
So they're up around the top. Season just started a couple of weeks back.
And how does Ireland's World Cup team look? Did they qualify?
We did not qualify.
You didn't? Oh, okay.
No, we're on the same level as the US.
Okay.
We didn't qualify. We have a couple of friendly games this summer. And that's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Do you play the US at all this summer?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know they
Look
play
out for
Turkey in the next game coming up.
Gotcha. So what's something strange that Americans do that kind of shocked you when you came here? Something weird or different that didn't make sense to you?
There's a lot.
You probably name a couple.
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head because it's been some time since I've gone home. But it usually comes to me very fast when I go home and come back.
Okay.
This doesn't seem right. You
Yeah.
know. One thing that does get to me a little bit is it's tough to have a genuine conversation with an American you don't know versus somebody at home, which would be more upfront with you.
Gotcha.
I think that's just a cultural difference. If you ask somebody, hey, how are you doing? Or you see them in the hallway,
Yeah.
the answer is always great.
Yeah.
And it's tough to see when people are having a bad day that you might not know them too well
Gotcha.
versus the honesty at home.
Okay.
It's something to
So
be
you
missed.
can walk down the hallway and ask somebody how they're doing, and they'll tell you why they're not having a good day.
They would tell you straight up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. So where's the last place you went on vacation outside of going home to visit?
Yeah, vacation is always going home for me. Last one I went on was to Ocean City. I usually go once or twice a summer and just take some time out at the end of the semesters.
Now,
So,
Waterford in Ireland, was that near? Did you get near the ocean when you were there?
yeah, in Ireland, you're never more than 2 hours away from any ocean.
Okay.
The Atlantic Ocean, and specifically where I am, is about 10 minutes away.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Though, we don't nearly get the same temperature.
You don't lay out on the beach.
We might have 2 or 3 days a year versus 40 or 50 days in
So
summer.
it's not a destination for people.
That's
really.
right, not at all.
I mean, it's probably beautiful though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Scenery's great. If you're looking to get some real sun from home, you'd usually go to Spain or Italy or Portugal.
Oh, gotcha. Which is how far away then for the?
Comparing the U.S., not very far. It might be from where we are now to Florida.
Okay.
That's about the same equivalent.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. It's kind of weird one here. If you were an animal, what animal would you be?
I would go with a dog. Keep it pretty basic. Go with a boxer.
Boxer? Okay. Why is that? Yeah, why is that? Any specific reason?
I had a friend growing up that had 2 boxers, and they were never trouble to me. I always enjoyed them compared to some other types of dogs.
Okay.
So that's my plan the next maybe year or so when I fully settle down, sign a new lease, will be to get a boxer.
You're a boxer? Cool. What superpower or ability would you want to have if you could have any type of power or ability?
It's probably not suitable for your thing, but watch that. If you look up online Karl Pilkington, he talks about his superpower being him being a bullshit man. So when people talk bullshit, he's able to call them out right away, and he knows it's not the truth. So his superpower is bullshit man. And I agree with Karl. He's got a good one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody always says like invisibility or flying or something. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it was
because you could get that so much. You could work with an athlete and instantly be able to have way more breakthroughs. Because when they walk in, you're like, "How you feeling today?" Like, "Oh, I'm feeling fine." Like, no,
you get the usual response.
Yeah.
You know exactly. I'm calling you out. That's it.
Yeah, you'd be great with like rate of perceived exertion exercises.
I'm telling you, it's a superpower for a reason.
I want that one now. That's awesome. And then kind of a more serious one. What advice would you have for someone who was, because you started a career in a brand new place.
That's right.
Which I think is really admirable in the way that you built yourself up like that. So what advice would you have for somebody else starting a career out in a new place?
I would say to stay patient in the process and not expect too much too soon.
Okay.
There's a lot more people like me, same age, same experience, same background, same results, that it's a tough process sometimes to stay patient and to reach out, use other people's relationships and leverage their experiences has been key for me the past couple of years.
That's excellent. Cool. Well, thanks so much for dropping by, Kevin.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Johnny. Glad to be on.
And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Just in time.
Just in time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening today. If you want to connect with us on social media, you can do so using the handle @StraightShotTraining. If you're looking for a comprehensive strength and conditioning program or a mobility and prehab program to use as your warm-up, check out a subscription to Straight Shot or our Resilient program by visiting straightshottraining.com. As always, if you could leave us a review and a rating on iTunes, we'd really appreciate it. Thanks again, and have a great week, everybody.